The human ship touched down on the uncharted planet with a soft thud, the vibration running through the metal floor like a quiet warning. The air outside was strange, thicker than Earth's, tinged with scents that made him pause, a mix of minerals, unknown flora, and something faintly sweet that teased his senses. He adjusted his suit and stepped onto the alien soil, boots sinking slightly into the soft, glowing moss that stretched in all directions. The landscape was unfamiliar, almost dreamlike, with jagged rock formations reaching toward a violet sky, and distant lights that flickered and moved as if they had lives of their own. His pulse quickened, not from fear, not yet, but from curiosity, the thrill of discovering something no human had ever seen. Every step felt heavy with anticipation, and yet the silence was what unsettled him most. No wind, no animal sound, no chirp or hum, only the faint rhythmic pulse of the ground beneath him, as if the planet itself were alive and watching. Then he saw her. She appeared from behind a cluster of glowing ferns, moving like liquid, silent but deliberate. Her skin shimmered faintly, reflecting the strange light of the sky, and her eyes, large, almond-shaped, golden, locked onto him immediately. She was small, no taller than a child, but her presence was magnetic, unsettling. She tilted her head curiously, studying him as he froze, unsure if he should speak or run. Her fingers twitched in the air as though sensing him without touching, and a faint smile curved her lips. The human thought he had seen everything in the galaxy, but nothing had prepared him for this. Her appearance was playful, innocent, almost mischievous, but something underneath hinted at power he could not understand, a force coiled and ready beneath her delicate form. "Hello," he called softly, voice echoing oddly in the quiet air. The words sounded strange, hollow even, as if swallowed by the planet itself. She did not answer, only tilted her head further and took a slow step closer, her movements graceful and alien. Then, without warning, she reached out and gently bit the tip of his forearm. It was playful, almost childlike in its gesture, yet the impact sent a jolt of pain through him that made his breath catch. He yelped instinctively, pulling back, only to see her laugh, a sound like wind chimes, light and musical, yet carrying a sharp edge that made his skin prickle. "Ouch!" he exclaimed, rubbing his arm, unsure if the bite was meant to hurt or test him. But it was not just a bite. He felt a sudden rush through his body, a tingling, electric sensation that traveled from the spot where her teeth had grazed his skin up through his arm and chest. His muscles tightened, his senses sharpened. He could hear the faintest hum of the ground, the pulse of the distant lights, even the subtle movements of the plants around him. His vision seemed to stretch, noticing colors he had never seen before, shapes in the shadows that had been invisible seconds ago. Panic mixed with awe, and he stumbled slightly, gripping his arm and trying to calm himself. The alien girl tilted her head again, watching, almost amused, as if she had expected this reaction. What did you do?" he whispered, voice trembling slightly. She did not answer. Instead, she danced lightly on her toes, playful and teasing, then suddenly bit his arm again. Not hard, just enough to make him yelp once more. And once again, that strange sensation coursed through him, sharper, more intense this time. His heart raced, a mixture of fear and excitement twisting inside him. He realized the bite was more than a playful gesture. It carried something foreign, something he could not yet comprehend. He felt different, alive in a way he had never experienced, but also unnerved by the sudden, inexplicable changes happening in his own body. The alien girl stepped back slightly, eyes gleaming with curiosity. She tilted her head and made a soft sound, almost like a question. The human stared at her, unsure whether to be afraid, amazed, or both. He took a deep breath, trying to make sense of the feelings coursing through him. Heightened awareness, sudden strength, strange energy that made his skin tingle. Questions swirled in his mind. Was this a natural defense? A playful trick? Or something far more dangerous? Something tied to her species' biology in ways he could not yet understand? His instincts screamed caution, yet curiosity, the desire to understand, pushed him closer to her once more. For a moment, time seemed to slow. The alien world held its breath. The human and the alien girl stood in silent assessment, each studying the other. Then she darted forward, playful yet precise, brushing his arm lightly with her hand and biting again, softer this time. He gasped, not just from the sting but from the growing realization that whatever was happening was bigger than he could imagine. The tingling surged through him again, and a faint shimmer flickered beneath his skin, visible only in the strange light of the planet. He staggered back, clutching his arm, feeling both fear and exhilaration. The alien girl tilted her head one last time and then turned, moving gracefully toward a cluster of glowing rocks. She paused, looking over her shoulder as if inviting him to follow. The human hesitated, heart pounding, mind racing with questions. He could retreat to the safety of his ship, warn others, call for help, but the pull of curiosity, the unspoken promise of discovering something extraordinary, was irresistible. Slowly, cautiously, he took a step after her. The air seemed charged, the world around them humming with anticipation. Whatever the alien girl had done with her playful bite, it was only the beginning, and the human was about to uncover a shocking secret that would change everything he knew about life, power, and the universe itself. The shadows of the alien landscape stretched long as he followed her deeper into the unknown, each step heavier with suspense, each breath a reminder that the encounter had shifted his world forever. The planet was alive, the alien girl was watching, and the human's life was no longer entirely his own. The human followed the alien girl deeper into the glowing forest, each step feeling heavier than the last. The moss beneath his boots seemed to pulse faintly, as if reacting to his presence. The alien girl moved ahead effortlessly, light on her feet, yet always watching him with those golden, curious eyes. He tried to focus, but the tingling from her bite continued to crawl along his arm, creeping up into his chest, sending shivers through every nerve. It was not pain in the normal sense, more like electricity running through him, lighting him up from the inside. His muscles twitched involuntarily, his senses sharper than they had ever been. Every sound, every scent, every subtle movement in the alien world around him was magnified, almost overwhelming. He stumbled to a stop, breathing hard, and looked down at his hands. Tiny veins shimmered beneath his skin, faintly glowing with a light that seemed almost alive. His eyes darted to the alien girl, but she only tilted her head, watching, a faint, mischievous smile on her lips. What is happening to me?" he asked, voice trembling. She made a soft sound, like a laugh or a question, and motioned for him to follow. He hesitated, fear battling curiosity, but the pull of the unknown was too strong. He had to know what this planet was, what she was, and what the bite had truly done to him. As he walked, he discovered other changes. He could hear faint heartbeats of creatures moving unseen in the distance, detect the soft rustle of wind against leaves before it reached him, and even sense the subtle vibrations of the ground beneath his feet. Colors seemed brighter, richer, as if the world itself had come alive in ways he had never noticed before. And yet, there was also a sharp, almost uncomfortable awareness. Pain flashed briefly through his skull whenever he overextended his senses, and he realized that his mind was trying to process too much at once. He staggered slightly, clutching his head, and the alien girl reached out, touching his shoulder with the gentlest of hands. The touch calmed the storm inside him, yet the pulse of energy under his skin remained, a constant reminder that something inside him had changed. The alien girl led him to a small pool of clear, shimmering water nestled among alien flowers that glowed softly in the dim light. She crouched beside it, gesturing for him to do the same. As he looked into the water, his reflection startled him. The faint shimmer beneath his skin mirrored in the surface, flickering like liquid light. He touched his arm, then his chest, and the glow seemed to react to him, as if aware of his attention. His breathing quickened. This isn't natural," he whispered. She tilted her head again, eyes gleaming, and he realized that the bite had done more than playfully sting him. It had somehow integrated him into the alien world itself. Panic threatened to overtake him. "What did you do?" he demanded, his voice louder this time. She laughed softly, musical and strange, and took a tiny step closer. She bit him again, this time lightly on the shoulder. The sensation spread faster now, and he felt a rush of power coursing through him, like a river breaking free of its banks. His muscles tightened and relaxed with unnatural ease, his mind focused and clear, able to anticipate the subtle changes in his surroundings. He realized, almost in awe, that the bite had granted him abilities that were foreign, powerful, and, above all, unpredictable. The alien girl studied him closely, tilting her head with curiosity as if assessing his reaction. You're changing," he murmured, voice tinged with awe and fear. She nodded slightly, then gestured for him to follow. Hesitant but driven by a mix of fascination and survival instinct, he obeyed. With each step, he tested his newfound awareness. He could sense the faintest movement of creatures hiding in the underbrush, feel the tremor of distant rocks shifting in the wind, and even detect the subtle change in the air as the temperature dropped slightly. Every sense was amplified, yet every amplification carried the risk of overwhelming him. Suddenly, a rustle of movement in the shadows caused his heart to race. His body reacted instantly, moving faster than thought, muscles coiling and releasing in perfect coordination. A small alien creature, no larger than a rabbit but with glowing eyes and sharp claws, leapt toward them from behind a tree. The human caught it effortlessly with his enhanced reflexes, surprise and fear mingling with exhilaration. The alien girl clapped softly, eyes twinkling, and he realized that the bite had not only changed him physically but had altered his instincts, his reflexes, his very connection to the world around him. As they continued, he began to wonder, what else had the bite done? Was this a gift, a test, or a trap? His mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. The alien girl seemed to sense his thoughts, moving closer and brushing his hand lightly, and he felt the surge of energy respond to her presence, as if their fates were now intertwined in ways he could not yet understand. The planet seemed alive, the glow under his skin pulsing in rhythm with the world, and he realized that the playful bite was only the beginning. The real mystery, the shocking surprise hinted at in the first moment of contact, was still ahead, waiting in the shadows of this alien land. The sun, or whatever light source hung in the violet sky, rose higher, casting strange, shifting shadows across the glowing moss. The human followed the alien girl, both drawn and wary, each step deeper into the unknown. The transformation within him was undeniable, unstoppable, and terrifying. And somewhere ahead, beyond the shimmer of the alien forest and the strange glimmer of the distant mountains, the secret of the bite, the planet, and the alien girl awaited, ready to reveal a truth that would change his life, and possibly the fate of humanity, forever. The human's body still hummed with the alien energy coursing through his veins, a pulse that he could neither control nor fully understand. Every movement made him feel alive in a way that was almost frightening. He glanced at the alien girl, whose golden eyes watched him carefully, curious and unblinking. She seemed to radiate a calm confidence, as if she knew exactly what was happening inside him. The forest around them shimmered with faint bioluminescent light, shadows twisting and shifting with every step. Strange sounds echoed in the distance, calls of creatures unseen, the soft rustle of alien plants, but the human could sense them all. Every instinct, every reflex, every nerve in his body screamed that something extraordinary was at work. They arrived at a small clearing, encircled by towering crystal-like formations that seemed to hum faintly, vibrating in resonance with the energy inside him. The alien girl crouched on a low rock and gestured for him to sit across from her. Her movements were fluid, almost dance-like, but every motion seemed intentional, precise, measured. The human hesitated. He wanted answers. He wanted to understand what had happened with her bite, what this energy in his veins meant, and what dangers or powers it might unlock. Yet he was also aware that asking questions might be dangerous. She might not answer, or worse, she might reveal something he wasn't ready to hear. Finally, she spoke, her voice soft, musical, and foreign in cadence, yet somehow understandable. "The bite. It is not a joke. It is a gift and a test," she said, tilting her head as though studying his reaction. "Our species, we bond through it. Through this bite, energy passes, knowledge passes, and connection forms. But humans cannot always withstand it." Her words sent a shiver down his spine. A gift, yes, but one with a hidden cost, something dangerous he could not yet measure. His pulse quickened. What did she mean by, "cannot always withstand it"? Could it kill him, change him forever? or trap him in a way he could not escape. He tried to stand, to pace, to shake off the uncertainty, but every movement reminded him of the strange energy. It pulsed beneath his skin, radiating heat and tingling sensation, intertwining with his nerves, his thoughts, and even his emotions. "So, what happens if I can't handle it?" he asked cautiously. She leaned closer, her eyes glinting with intensity. "Then, the energy rejects you. It consumes what it cannot bond with. It is not mercy, it is nature. But if it bonds, you change. You gain strength. You gain awareness. You see what others cannot see. But you must trust. Trust completely." The human swallowed hard, fear and awe colliding inside him. Trust. Could he trust her fully after everything? After a bite that had shocked his senses, heightened his abilities, and left him uncertain of his own body? And yet, the pull of curiosity, of survival, of the strange thrill of experiencing something beyond human comprehension, drove him closer. He nodded slowly, agreeing without words, signaling that he was willing to take the risk. The alien girl's smile widened, subtle but knowing, and she gestured for him to reach out. As he did, he felt the energy respond instantly. A surge of power rushed through him, stronger this time, like a current in a river, carrying sensations of alien landscapes, unheard sounds, and flashes of memory that were not his own. He stumbled back, overwhelmed, gripping the crystalline rock for support. The alien girl stayed calm, watching, as if she had expected this reaction. Slowly, his body adjusted, the pulse of energy syncing with his own heartbeat. He could feel it settling, intertwining with his mind, his thoughts, his instincts. He realized that the bite was not simply physical, it was a conduit, a bridge between her species and his own humanity. "You see now," she whispered, eyes fixed on him. "You are not yet one of us, but the bond begins. You will understand what we are, what we can do, only if you survive the process. It is not just power. It is connection. It is awareness. It is life shared." Her words sent a chill through him, a mixture of fear and fascination. He had expected an adventure, exploration, maybe danger. But this was something entirely different. This was transformation, not just in body, but in perception, in reality itself. Suddenly, distant sounds shattered the fragile calm, a shrill cry, followed by the rumble of movement across the forest floor. The alien girl's eyes narrowed, her body shifting instinctively into a defensive stance. "They are coming," she said sharply. "Other factions. They sense the energy. They will take it from you, or destroy you." Panic surged through the human. His mind raced, but the energy inside him seemed to respond, heightening his reflexes, sharpening his awareness, and forcing him to confront danger with senses far beyond normal human limits. The alien girl stood, moving closer, placing a reassuring hand on his arm. "Trust me," she whispered. "I will guide you. But you must let the bond grow, fully." He nodded, feeling a strange calm seep through him despite the approaching threat. Whatever the danger, whatever the unknown creatures in the forest, he was no longer entirely human, no longer entirely unprepared. The bite, the energy, the connection, they had changed him for better or worse. As shadows approached, and the distant rumble grew louder, the human realized that this was only the beginning. The bite had unlocked a secret, a truth about the alien species and about himself that he could not yet fully understand. And somewhere in the shadows, forces waited, patient and watchful, ready to challenge him, test him, and push the limits of the bond he had only just begun to form. The true test of survival, and of understanding the alien girl's species, was still ahead. The forest had grown darker as the sun, or whatever faint light the alien sky offered, slipped behind jagged mountains on the horizon. Shadows twisted across the glowing moss, and every rustle of leaves or distant crack of alien branches set the human's heightened senses on edge. He could feel the energy inside him pulsing faster, reacting to every subtle change around them. The alien girl moved with effortless grace, a constant presence by his side, her eyes scanning every shadow, every movement, every sound. Yet even with her guidance, an uneasy tension hung in the air. Danger was near, unseen but undeniable, and the human realized with a chill that the bite had not only changed him, it had drawn attention he could not yet comprehend. A distant rustle grew louder, echoing through the crystalline trees like the footfalls of predators. The human stiffened, muscles coiling automatically, instincts sharper than any weapon he had ever known. His vision adjusted instantly, picking up subtle movements in the shadows. Multiple figures, humanoid but distinctly alien, moving swiftly through the forest. Their presence was deliberate, measured, and clearly hostile. He glanced at the alien girl. She tensed, her golden eyes narrowing. "They sense the bond," she whispered. "They want it. They will take it. Or destroy you." The words sent a jolt of fear through him, but his body reacted before his mind could catch up. Every nerve, every reflex, every pulse of the alien energy guided him as he moved instinctively to stay behind her, ready to confront what was coming. The first attackers emerged from the shadows, creatures tall and lean, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors like liquid metal. They moved in synchronized silence, circling the pair like predators surrounding their prey. The human could feel their focus, their intent, and a surge of adrenaline mixed with the alien energy within him, sharpening his reflexes. He could anticipate their movements almost before they happened, his body responding faster than thought. Yet despite the power, a deep fear gnawed at him. He had never faced anything like this, and the bite had only partially prepared him for the threat. The alien girl stood firm, placing herself slightly in front, a silent warning that the energy they sought was dangerous to them, and that she would protect it. The first strike came suddenly. One of the attackers lunged from the shadows, claws extended. The human reacted instantly, sidestepping with unnatural speed and grabbing a low-hanging branch for leverage. He hurled himself toward the creature, using his amplified reflexes to dodge and counter. The alien girl moved with him, a blur of precision and grace, striking with energy that radiated in waves, repelling attackers with bursts of force he could not yet explain. Every motion was terrifying and exhilarating, a dance of survival that pushed his new abilities to their limits. He realized with awe and terror that the bite had unlocked potential, but mastering it would require focus and courage he had not yet fully possessed. The battle escalated. More attackers poured from the shadows, moving in perfect coordination. The human senses picked up their approach before they even came into sight. Tiny vibrations in the ground, subtle shifts in the air, faint sounds of breath and motion. He reacted instinctively, striking, dodging, and moving with a speed and precision he had never known possible. The alien girl guided him silently, her hands brushing his arm or shoulder, sending surges of energy that enhanced his reflexes and awareness. They fought as one, a strange bond forming between them, strengthened by trust and the shared danger that pulsed through every second of the encounter. But even as they fought, the human sensed something deeper, something more dangerous than the attackers themselves. The alien girl's species had a secret, a hidden ability to manipulate energy through bites, and these attackers were not mere soldiers, they were enforcers, sent to capture and study the effects of the bond. The realization struck him suddenly. The bite had made him a target, not just for survival, but for forces far beyond his understanding. Every pulse of energy in his veins now had consequences, every reflex and every amplified sense marking him as extraordinary, and in a world where extraordinary often meant death, the stakes were higher than ever. The human and the alien girl retreated strategically, using the glowing forest to mask their movements. He felt the alien energy responding to her presence, reacting to her guidance, and strengthening him in ways he could barely comprehend. Yet fear lingered, gnawing at the edges of his awareness. He realized that trust was no longer optional, it was the only way to survive. Without relying fully on her, he would fall, and the attackers would claim the bond, the energy, and perhaps even him. His heart pounded, muscles coiled, senses razor-sharp, every instinct screaming for caution, yet he moved forward, guided by curiosity, survival, and the strange connection forged by a playful bite that had turned his life upside down. As the attackers' forms disappeared into the shadows, the alien girl whispered softly, almost to herself, "The bond is stronger than I thought. But they will not give up. Not easily." The human, breathing heavily, glanced at her, a mix of fear and awe in his expression. He was changing, evolving in ways he did not yet understand, and the forest seemed to pulse with anticipation. Somewhere ahead, beyond the glowing moss and crystalline trees, lay secrets, challenges, and dangers far greater than the ones they had just faced. And he realized with a thrill and a chill that the bite was only the beginning. The hidden threat was far from over, and the real test of trust, power, and survival was only just beginning. The forest lay quiet after the chaos of the attack, but the silence was uneasy, like a held breath before a storm. The human and the alien girl moved cautiously, side by side, each step measured, each movement deliberate. The alien energy inside him still pulsed, stronger now, reacting to her presence like a tether that bound them in ways he could not yet understand. Every instinct, every sense, every amplified reflex whispered that danger was never far, that the attackers had not given up, and that the bite had changed him forever. He could feel it in his bones, in the subtle tingling under his skin, in the way the forest seemed to shift with every thought he had. The connection was growing, becoming more than just a bond. It was a shared awareness, a strange, unfamiliar kind of trust. He glanced at her, hesitating. I don't know if I can do this, he admitted, voice low, laced with doubt and fear. She stopped, her golden eyes locking onto his, unwavering, piercing. You must, she said softly, or you will not survive. The bond chooses you because it sees potential. But potential without trust is weakness. Do you understand? He swallowed hard, feeling the weight of her words. Every instinct screamed to be cautious, to step back, to protect himself from what he did not fully comprehend. And yet, the pull of curiosity, of survival, of the strange thrill of being part of something beyond human understanding, drove him closer. He nodded slowly, signaling his agreement. The forest seemed to respond instantly. The pulse of alien energy inside him synced with the quiet rhythm of the glowing moss beneath their feet. Suddenly, movement flickered in the shadows ahead. More attackers, this time faster, smarter, circling from multiple directions. The human's heart raced, but he did not hesitate. The energy inside him surged, guided by instinct and the alien girl's presence. He could anticipate their movements before they struck, see faint traces of their approach in the shimmering air, and react with precision he had never known possible. Every strike, every dodge, every step was guided by the bond, a strange mixture of fear and trust, of danger and exhilaration. The alien girl moved with him, a blur of light and motion, her hands brushing his shoulder and arm to focus the energy coursing through his veins. Together, they fought, a synchronized force of human will and alien power. The attackers lunged and struck, but the human's reflexes, amplified and sharpened by the bond, allowed him to evade and counter with uncanny precision. The alien girl's small form radiated power, energy waves emanating from her movements, pushing attackers back with bursts of force. Each clash was a lesson, a test, and a warning that survival required more than strength. It required trust, strategy, and unity. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. The bond between them strengthened with every movement, every shared glance, every instinctive reaction. The human realized that the bite had done more than change his body. It had opened his mind, sharpened his awareness, and forced him to see the world through a lens far beyond human limits. The alien girl species had designed the bite to select, to empower, and to test, and he was the test. Every attack, every threat, every shadow in the forest was part of the challenge. Survive, adapt, and trust. And he had learned that failure was not an option. But trust came with consequences. The human felt the energy inside him reacting unpredictably, sometimes surging, sometimes fading, responding not just to danger but to emotion, to hesitation, to fear. One wrong move, one lapse in concentration, and the bond could overwhelm him. He stumbled briefly, a surge of pain coursing through his arm and chest, and the alien girl reached out immediately, placing her hand on him. The energy stabilized, guided by her presence, but he knew the risk remained. The bite was powerful, yes, but it demanded complete trust, unflinching focus, and acceptance of the unknown. The cost of failure was unimaginable, yet he could not retreat. They emerged onto a ridge overlooking a valley bathed in a strange golden light. From below, more attackers emerged, countless shapes moving like shadows, their intent unmistakable. They wanted the energy he carried, and they would not stop until it was theirs. The alien girl placed a hand on his shoulder, eyes glinting with determination. "We face them together," she said. "Trust the bond. Trust me. Nothing else will keep you alive." The human nodded, feeling the pulse of energy respond, syncing with his heartbeat and her presence. Fear lingered, but trust, fragile yet potent, took root, anchoring him in a way that made him feel stronger than ever before. As the attackers advanced, the human realized that the bite, the bond, the alien girl, and the energy within him were no longer separate. They were intertwined. He was not just fighting for survival. He was fighting to prove that the trust he placed in her, the trust she placed in him, could overcome any threat. The forest trembled with the approaching danger, the alien sky glowed faintly, and every instinct in his enhanced senses screamed that the real test was now. Whatever happened next, whatever dangers awaited, he knew one thing clearly. The consequences of trust were immediate, powerful, and irreversible, and the survival of both of them depended on it. With a final deep breath, he readied himself, muscles coiled, senses sharp, energy thrumming beneath his skin. The alien girl stood beside him, calm and poised, her eyes reflecting both caution and confidence. Together, they faced the hidden threat, united by the bond of the bite, the shared energy, and the trust they had chosen to place in one another. And in that moment, as shadows advanced and the forest seemed to hold its breath, the human realized that whatever came next would test him in ways no human had ever faced, and that the shocking surprise hinted at from the very first bite was still waiting, just beyond the next shadow. The valley below shimmered in a golden haze, alien light reflecting off the crystalline formations that jutted from the ground. The human and the alien girl stood on the ridge, hearts pounding, senses alert, bodies coiled with tension. The energy inside him pulsed strongly, reacting to her presence and to the advancing attackers below. He could feel every step they took, every movement, every intention before it fully unfolded. Yet, despite the heightened awareness, fear still lingered. Something deep inside told him that this battle was not merely physical. This was the moment when the bite's true purpose would reveal itself, when the bond he shared with her would either save them or consume him entirely. The first attackers surged forward, shapes moving like shadows, limbs flashing in the alien light. The human reacted instinctively, moving with precision and speed that left even him in awe. His body flowed with energy, dodging and countering, striking with force guided not by thought but by instinct. The alien girl moved alongside him, her small form radiating bursts of power that repelled attackers in shimmering waves. Each strike, each movement, reinforced the bond between them. He realized as he fought that this was more than trust. It was synchronization, a merging of human determination and alien energy, a dance of survival orchestrated by the bite. Suddenly, a figure emerged at the center of the attacker's formation. Taller than the rest, cloaked in shadows that seemed to ripple like liquid, it radiated a strange, oppressive energy. The human felt it immediately. The energy from the bite resonated violently, thrumming through every nerve, warning him of the danger. The alien girl's eyes widened slightly, and she whispered, "This is what I warned you about. The source, the one who controls the bond hunters." His pulse quickened. The bite was not random, the attackers were not mindless. Everything had been drawn to him because of that playful gesture, because of the energy she had shared with him. The true test, the shocking surprise, had arrived. The source stepped forward, and the human could feel a ripple of recognition, a sense that this figure had studied him, awaited him. The energy inside him surged in response, and suddenly he understood. The bite had not merely given him power, it had chosen him for something greater. It had awakened latent abilities, unlocked potential that no ordinary human could reach, and now it demanded a decision: wield the power or be consumed by it. The alien girl reached out, placing her hand firmly on his arm, grounding him. "Trust fully," she said. "This is the moment. The bond decides everything." His heart pounded as he realized the gravity of her words. There was no turning back. The attackers lunged in a coordinated strike, but the human moved with clarity and precision he had never known. His senses, heightened by the bite, allowed him to anticipate every move, every strike, every intention. He countered instinctively, his body a conduit for the alien energy flowing through him. The alien girl mirrored his movements, guiding and enhancing his strikes with subtle touches, pulses of power that surged through him and radiated outward. Together, they became a single force, moving faster than thought, stronger than fear, and unstoppable in their synchronicity. Then came the revelation. The source at the center of the attackers raised its hands, and suddenly the energy around them shifted. The forest, the valley, the glowing moss, all responded to the bond. He could see the truth now. The bite had been a key, a signal, a bridge. It had connected him to the alien girl, yes, but also to the planet, to the energy network that powered her species, and to the very essence of the bond hunters themselves. The attackers were drawn by curiosity, by instinct, by the power that had awakened within him. But the source had underestimated one thing: the human's will, guided by trust, amplified by the bond, was unpredictable. He felt a surge of energy unlike anything before, flowing through him in waves of light and power. The attackers recoiled, thrown back by the force of the bond, and the source faltered, a crack of fear visible even in its shadowy form. The alien girl's smile widened, triumphant but cautious. "It is yours now," she whispered. "The bond chooses you. Use it wisely." The human understood instinctively. The bite had been playful, yes, but it had set in motion a chain of events that had revealed not only the alien girl's true nature but his own hidden potential. He was no longer a passive participant in this world. He was an active force, a being capable of wielding the energy of an alien species with the strength of humanity's resilience. As the light surged around him, he reached out, letting the energy flow freely, shaping it with instinct, guiding it with the bond, and focusing it with purpose. The attackers fell back, retreating into the shadows, unable to resist the combined force. The source, overwhelmed by the unexpected power, dissipated, leaving only a whisper of its presence in the air. Silence returned, heavy and strange, the forest humming faintly as if acknowledging the shift. He looked at the alien girl, her golden eyes reflecting pride and relief. They had survived, but more than that, they had discovered something extraordinary. The playful bite had unlocked a power beyond imagination, a bond that transcended species, a secret that would change both their lives forever. The human sank to his knees, exhausted yet exhilarated. The energy inside him slowly calmed, settling into a steady pulse that now felt like a part of him. He touched his arm, chest, and felt the faint shimmer beneath his skin, a reminder of the bond, the bite, and the shocking surprise that had transformed him. The alien girl crouched beside him, her hand brushing his shoulder gently. "You survived," she said softly. "But remember, this is only the beginning. The bond has chosen you, and now your journey truly begins." The human nodded, understanding at last that the playful bite, the strange energy, and the hidden danger had all been leading him to this moment. His life, and perhaps the fate of countless others, had changed forever. As they rose together, moving back into the glowing forest, he could feel the world around him differently, alive in ways he had never imagined. The bond, the bite, the trust, and the energy had transformed him. He was human, but he was also more, capable of wonders, dangers, and choices that would define not just his future, but the future of every being drawn into the mystery of the alien girl species. And somewhere deep within, he knew the shocking surprise was not over. It had only opened the door to a universe of possibilities, adventures, and challenges that awaited beyond the horizon.